Archangel Michael says, "I'm sorry, but I, Archangel Michael, have been hiding a secret from you. Today, you are seeing this because God has finally allowed me to reveal it. The person you trust the most did something behind your back. Beloved, please open this, because if you don't, this message will burn and vanish within 10 seconds. There are things in the heavens that remain hidden until the perfect moment, not because they are meant to hurt you, but because they must arrive at a time when your heart is most ready to carry them. This moment, dear one, has been ordained by God Himself, not with fear, not with confusion, but with the light of clarity, comfort, and truth that can only be revealed when the weight of the world feels too much and yet your spirit is still reaching upward for something greater. Type 1111 if you trust in God. For a long time now, a quiet sorrow has followed you, one you could never quite name, though you often felt its shadow as you laid your head down in the stillness of night, wondering why some things never felt whole. You gave your heart fully, trusted deeply, and stood firmly beside someone you believed would never fail you. You offered kindness when it cost you, loyalty even when it was silent, and forgiveness without being asked. And though your love was genuine, there was a moment, hidden away like a stone beneath still water, when something was done behind you, not by your enemy, but by the one you held closest to your chest. Now hear me with a heart softened by grace, not hardened by anger, because this truth is not meant to break you, it is meant to make room for healing you didn't even know you needed. What happened in that hidden moment, God saw it. Every tear that followed it, He counted. Every silent prayer you whispered when the ache returned, He caught it before it fell to the earth. There has never been a second when heaven turned its face from you, and this, beloved, is why I have come forward now. Like this video and subscribe to this channel if you love spending time with God. There is a secret I've carried, and I was told to hold it until the pain you carried no longer had to be held alone. I watched you in every moment you questioned your worth because of how others failed to love you rightly. I saw how you tried to be stronger, to smile anyway, to convince yourself that perhaps it was your fault for expecting too much. But, child of God, you were never asking for too much when you asked for truth, faithfulness, and honesty. You were asking for what you were born deserving, love that reflects the heart of Christ, love that lifts and never tears down, love that stays even when no one is watching. A powerful 9-word prayer once classified by secret agencies has now leaked, and it's quietly rewriting destinies. In under 30 seconds, it reprograms the mind to attract wealth and dissolve scarcity. Users are reporting surprise income, restored hope, and financial peace. But this page might be deleted at any time. Click the link now before it's taken down without warning. Now, please do not let your heart run to bitterness or rage, because though the act was hidden from you, God has never let it be hidden from Him. He has already prepared healing that runs deeper than the hurt, and restoration that can rebuild what you thought was beyond repair. This is not the end of anything beautiful. This is the beginning of something you never dared believe was possible. And yes, there was betrayal. Yes, someone did turn their face away when you needed them most. But still, God's love for you never flickered. Still, the protection of heaven wrapped around your soul like a soft blanket on the coldest night. This revelation is not about exposing someone else. It is about uncovering the wounds you tried to ignore, the ache you've dressed up in strength for far too long. God does not delight in your pain, but He rejoices in your healing, and this is the time when the light reaches even the most hidden corners of your heart. If you let it, this light will not only comfort you, but it will also set you free. Type 666 if you believe in God's grace. You are not broken. You are not forgotten. You are not foolish for having trusted. Love was always worth giving, even when others failed to honor it. And now, God wants to give back to you, not with the same love you lost, but with something purer, steadier, holier. Your life is not behind you. What you thought you missed is still ahead. Everything you gave, everything you believed, it was not wasted. In God's hands, nothing is ever wasted. Rest now, knowing this truth was not meant to bring more pain, but to invite your heart into the deepest healing. Let the Spirit of God move gently through the places you've tried to keep sealed. Let Him whisper into the silence that has haunted you for too long. You are seen. You are safe. You are chosen, even in the aftermath. And in this moment, you are more loved than you've ever been. In the quiet places of your heart, there is a longing that not even time has been able to touch, a sacred space where you have waited without knowing what you were truly waiting for. It is in that quiet space that God has been speaking, not with loud words, but with soft invitations to trust Him again, even when the ones you trusted failed you. This journey, though heavy at times, is not leading you into emptiness, but into the very fullness of His love, a love that holds you even when everything else feels like it's slipping through your fingers. Stay until the very end, for heaven has been pressing to share this truth with you today. Sometimes, the deepest healing begins not with answers, but with the gentle awareness that you are not walking alone. I have watched over you through your silent battles, the ones no one saw, the ones you fought behind smiles and polite words, and I have carried the unspoken weight of your sorrow so that you could keep going, even when your strength began to fade. Now is not the time to be afraid of what is being brought into the light. What you are being shown is not meant to crush you, it is meant to awaken the truth you've always felt in your soul, that God has never left you, not for a moment, not even when it felt like everyone else did. There is nothing weak about your tenderness. There is nothing foolish about your faith in others. The world may see softness as something to take advantage of, but heaven sees it as holy. You loved with a heart that mirrored Christ, even if others could not hold it properly. And now, that same heart, though bruised and shaken, is being wrapped in the mercy of God, a mercy so wide, so endless, that it will gently stitch together every place that was torn without asking you to become someone harder just to protect yourself. Let your tears come if they need to, not as a sign of defeat, but as the beginning of release. There is no shame in grieving what should have been. There is no weakness in mourning the loss of trust. These emotions are not signs that your faith has failed, they are signs that your heart is real, still open, still beating, still hoping. And even now, hope is not in vain. What was broken in secret is being healed in the open, by the very hands of God. This is not the time to look back and wish things had gone differently. God does not dwell in regret, and neither must you. He works in what is, not in what might have been. And what is, right here, right now, is the sacred moment when heaven leans closer, when your soul is met with compassion so deep it cannot be measured. You are not being punished. You are being held. You are not being abandoned. You are being lifted. Type 1919 to embrace healing. The person who hurt you did so from their own place of brokenness, and though it may feel unfair, even unjust, God asks you not to carry their failure as your identity. Their choices do not define you. Their actions do not lessen your worth. What they did behind your back was seen by the one who stands forever behind you, beside you, and within you. And he is not finished yet. This unveiling is not for your shame. It is for your freedom. You do not need to pretend anymore. You do not need to silence the ache just to keep peace. Let yourself be real, and let the Spirit of God meet you there, in your honesty, in your heartache, in your exhaustion. There is healing in simply saying, "This hurt me," and knowing that heaven nods, not with judgment, but with compassion that understands the full weight of your story. And here is the truth: you are going to be okay. Not because things will always make sense. Not because people will always do right by you. But because God is with you, and His love does not waver based on the actions of others. You are not being called to understand everything. You are being invited to rest in the arms of the one who understands you completely. What if you discovered a tiny, walnut-sized brain region holds the secret to endless wealth and success? Recently uncovered by groundbreaking research and once buried in classified files, this frequency is now available to anyone ready to listen. Imagine replacing worry and struggle with a life of financial ease and freedom. Interested? Click the link in video description and comments below to unleash this hidden brain wave and start attracting wealth right now. You have been guided to this message for a reason, and if you turn away, the chance may not return. This is your time to step in. The path you've walked has not been easy, not because you have done anything wrong, but because your heart was always wide open, full of trust, full of love, and always willing to believe the best in others, even when they gave you every reason not to. You were never naive for loving deeply. You were never weak for holding on when it would have been easier to walk away. You were simply following the footsteps of Jesus, who gave love even to those who turned away, who kept showing up for hearts that were afraid of staying. Now, as this hidden truth rises into the light, it may stir a storm within you, but even in that storm, God is not shaken. You are not expected to pretend this doesn't hurt, nor are you asked to force yourself into forgiveness before your soul is ready. What you are being offered is something far more gentle: space to breathe, time to process, and the promise that you do not have to carry this on your own. The Lord is not asking you to fix this. He is asking you to let Him carry you while He begins the work of mending what was broken without your knowledge. Even when others move in silence, God works in light. Even when people choose to be dishonest, God remains faithful. The betrayal you now know about may feel like it changes everything, but it does not change your identity, your calling, or the way heaven sees you. You are still pure-hearted. You are still beloved. And you are still held in the deepest arms of grace. Do not let this wound speak louder than the voice of God. He has never turned from you, even when people did. He has never stopped believing in your goodness, even when others questioned it. And even now, He is drawing close to you, not to demand anything from you, but to comfort you in the quiet way only a loving Father can. This is not the end of your story. This is where new chapters begin, chapters written by the one who already knows how it all ends, and promises it will end in your healing. Type 222 if you know God is with you. You may feel tempted to shut down your heart, to protect what is left by locking it away, but I plead with you to leave a little light on. Do not let the hurt of others convince you to stop hoping. God still has more for you. More kindness, more peace, more connection, more moments where your soul finally feels seen without having to explain itself. You will love again. You will trust again. Not in the same way, but in a way that is wiser, steadier, and guarded not by walls, but by the Spirit who now walks closer than ever. The pain will not last forever. The sorrow will not define you. And what was hidden is no longer a weight on your shoulders, it has been released, and with that release comes the beginning of restoration. Yes, it may take time. Yes, there will be days when the ache returns unexpectedly. But each time it does, God will meet you there. Not with disappointment. Not with pressure. But with gentleness, like a quiet sunrise after the darkest night, reminding you that healing is not rushed, it is received, one tender step at a time. Your heart may feel tired, but it is not empty. Your soul may feel cracked, but it is not beyond repair. There is a sweetness in being fully known, even when the truth stings, because it means you no longer have to pretend. You are free to feel. Free to let go. Free to be held in the safety of God's arms without explanation or apology. Let yourself rest here, in this holy space between pain and healing. Let your breath slow, your shoulders fall, and your heart lean into the truth that God has seen it all, and He still calls you chosen. What others tried to bury in shadows, He has brought into the light, not to shame you, but to set you free. There is nothing now that stands between you and the full comfort of heaven. There are some truths that God waits to unfold until your heart is ready to receive them, not because He wants to withhold anything from you, but because He understands the delicate way your soul must be nurtured back to life after being bruised by someone you trusted. This secret that now stands in the open is not meant to leave you wounded forever. It is meant to clear away the fog that has dimmed your light and to give you back the freedom you didn't even realize was slowly slipping from your hands. When someone you loved and believed in acts against you in silence, something inside you breaks in a way words rarely capture. It's not just the action that causes pain, it's the shattering of safety, the erosion of something you thought was sacred. You start questioning your worth, your voice, your sense of discernment. And that's where the enemy tries to whisper lies into your weary soul, hoping you'll believe that you're not enough, that this was somehow your fault, or that love is not worth the risk. Type 1515 to receive peace in your soul. But let me tell you now, with every ounce of love that heaven holds for you, none of this was your fault. You did not deserve betrayal. You did not invite it. And you are not broken because of it. What someone did in darkness cannot steal the light of who you are. That light still burns within you, even if right now it feels like just a flicker. And God is fanning that flame with every breath of His mercy. He knows how deeply you feel. He knows how long you've carried pain in silence. He knows how many times you've said you were okay, just so no one else would worry. But He never believed those words, because He sees behind them. He sees the child in you that still longs to be held, the faithful heart that still wants to believe in goodness. He sees it all, and still, He loves you, fully, fiercely, endlessly. There is beauty in the fact that even in your sadness, you still wake up and try. Even with a heart that's been hurt, you still love. Even with disappointment pressing against your chest, you still believe there's more ahead. And that faith, even if it feels small right now, is what heaven treasures. You do not need to be perfect to be loved by God. You just need to be honest, and He will meet you in that honesty with arms wide open. This healing will not come all at once. There will be quiet days when you feel peace and unexpected moments when the memory of the hurt returns like a cold wind. But through it all, you will not be alone. The Spirit of God walks with you, closer than your own breath, whispering reassurance when your thoughts grow heavy and your heart feels too tired to hold itself up. There is no timeline for restoration. There is only the truth that it has already begun. Every tear you cry is watering the soil of something new. Every time you choose to speak gently to yourself instead of blaming your own heart, you're choosing life. Every time you let God be the one to defend you instead of trying to understand why someone did what they did, you're placing your trust in something far more powerful than justice. You're placing it in grace. What if I told you financial freedom is not about working harder, but activating a dormant brain signal designed to draw abundance directly to you? Neuroscience proves this sound wave unlocks prosperity faster than any method known before. From unexpected cash to life-changing success, it's already helping thousands. Imagine looking back tomorrow wishing you had acted today. Do not let regret replace the miracle that is calling you right now. Click the link in the video description and comments below to turn on the ancient money wave and create the life you've always dreamed of today. And grace is what will carry you. Not just through the pain, but far beyond it. You will rise from this with a deeper knowing of your worth, with a steadier faith in God's timing, and with a softness that the world cannot steal from you. You will not always feel broken. You will not always ache like this. A time will come when you look back on this moment not with resentment, but with quiet awe at how God took your sorrow and turned it into a river of strength you didn't know you had. The weight of betrayal does not disappear overnight, and the echo it leaves behind can linger even in the happiest moments. It creeps into your thoughts when you least expect it, often when you are finally beginning to feel calm again, whispering reminders of pain that you wish you could forget. But here is what you must know, deeply and without question: what happened in secret has no power to define you. The betrayal may have taken place without your knowing, but your healing is unfolding in full view of heaven. Type 1616 if you surrender to God's will. You do not need to keep your heart hidden just to feel safe. You do not need to keep pretending that you are unaffected. God already sees it all, and He has not turned away. In fact, He is closer than He's ever been. With every breath you take, He draws near, not with judgment or rebuke, but with a steady and unwavering love that speaks into your deepest silence, reminding you that you are not alone and never have been. You have held yourself together through moments when everything inside of you was falling apart. You have smiled through confusion, kept going when your body was tired, and remained kind even when the world was unkind to you. Heaven does not overlook these things. The endurance of your spirit is not forgotten. God has seen every moment when you chose to keep walking through the fire without knowing when or how it would end, and He honors every step you took in faith. What someone did in darkness is now being brought into the light, not for the sake of revenge, but for the sake of healing. You were never meant to carry the weight of something that was never yours to begin with. What someone else chose to do was never a reflection of your worth. It was a reflection of their own struggle, their own brokenness, and their own distance from the truth of God's love. Let that truth rest in your heart, not as an excuse for them, but as a reason to set yourself free. Freedom does not come from understanding every detail of why someone hurt you. It comes from surrendering the pain into the hands of the one who knows exactly what to do with it. It comes from releasing the need to hold it all together and instead allowing God to hold you. It comes from trusting that even when people disappoint you, heaven never will. You are not weak for feeling this deeply. You are not overreacting for being heartbroken. You are human, and you were created with a heart designed to love with depth. That is a gift, not a flaw. And it is that very heart, bruised but still beating, that God will use to bring light into places that are still covered in shadow. He is not waiting for you to be over the pain. He is sitting with you inside of it, whispering peace into your restlessness, and reminding you that even now, you are still His. This moment may feel like it has stripped you of something precious, but what you have lost is not greater than what God is preparing to give. In your emptiness, He is planting seeds that will grow into beauty you haven't yet imagined. And while it may take time, and while it may feel slow, nothing that is nurtured by God ever fails to flourish in His perfect season. Let yourself be open again, not to those who hurt you, but to the healing that is waiting to meet you. Let yourself rest, not because you have given up, but because you are finally letting God carry what you were never meant to hold alone. Let yourself believe that this is not where it ends. Your story is still being written by hands that know every detail of your soul, and those hands are always gentle, always kind, always faithful. There are moments in every soul's journey when the weight of unspoken sorrow becomes too heavy to carry in silence. This is one of those moments where heaven steps in, not to bring pain, but to gently lift what has been pressing against your heart for far too long. The truth, though difficult to hold, is no longer hidden. And though it may feel like it has shattered something sacred, I assure you, what is being rebuilt will be stronger, purer, and filled with more peace than you have ever known. Type 2020 to claim joy and strength. It is okay to feel like you've lost your footing. It is okay to feel unsure of who you can trust now. Your response to betrayal is not weakness. It is the heart's natural cry for safety and truth. You were created to walk in light, not to stumble through shadows cast by the actions of others. So when someone you loved moved in secrecy, it wasn't your fault that you didn't see it coming. Your trust was not a flaw, it was a reflection of your faithfulness, your kindness, and the purity of your intentions. Now that the light has revealed what was hidden, there is no need to pretend anymore. You don't have to smile when your soul feels heavy. You don't have to explain away the ache that lingers in your chest. God is not asking you to rush through this part of your healing. He is asking you to rest in His presence and let Him do what only He can, gather the broken pieces of your heart and tenderly hold them until they are whole again. This season of your life is sacred. Though it may feel like loss, it is also an invitation into deeper love. Not the kind of love that depends on others getting it right, but the kind that comes directly from the heart of God, constant, gentle, unwavering. You are not being asked to forgive instantly or to forget what happened. You are being invited to surrender, slowly and honestly, the pain that has taken root inside of you. And in its place, God is planting something eternal. Do not believe the lie that your love was wasted. Every act of kindness you gave, every word of comfort you shared, every prayer you whispered in secret, it all mattered. It still matters. Nothing given in love is ever lost in the kingdom of heaven. Even the tears you thought were unnoticed have been held in God's hands like diamonds. Nothing has been overlooked. Nothing has been in vain. An ancient 9-word code, once reserved for high-level insiders, has been uncovered. It's simple, quick, and shockingly effective at drawing money and blessings into your life. Neuroscientists confirm it stimulates the brain's receiving center, an area dormant in most people. People everywhere are calling it the 30-second miracle. Click the link in the description and comments before the authorities remove it again. You are not the one who failed. You are not the one who turned away. You stayed. You believed. You loved fully. And for that, heaven honors you. While the betrayal may still sting, it has no power to undo the goodness in you. It cannot unmake the beauty of your heart. It cannot take away the grace that God continues to pour over you like soft rain on thirsty ground. There is so much tenderness waiting for you. So much still ahead that will remind you why you kept going, even when everything inside of you wanted to stop. God has seen the hidden pain, and He is answering now, not always with loud signs or immediate change, but with quiet strength and daily mercies that will surprise you in the most ordinary moments. A sunrise that feels like hope. A breath that feels like peace. A night's rest without dreams of sorrow. This is how healing begins, not with forgetting, but with remembering that you are not alone. That even when the pain was hidden, God was already preparing a way forward. Even when the one you trusted turned away, God stepped in and stayed. And He is still here. Still speaking. Still comforting. Still guiding you with a love that never fades. Let yourself lean into that love, even when the road ahead feels uncertain. Let your soul be softened, not hardened. Let grace do its quiet work within you. What was once hidden in darkness has now been brought into the open, and with it comes freedom, freedom to feel, to breathe, to begin again, not as someone broken, but as someone beloved beyond measure. Type 111 if you believe miracles are near. When your heart has been wounded by someone you trusted, even the smallest moments can begin to feel unfamiliar. You look at your life and suddenly wonder what was real and what was not. Your laughter feels quieter. Your confidence, once strong and steady, begins to flicker like a candle in the wind. You question whether your love was misplaced, whether you missed the signs, whether your hope was foolish. But none of these questions deserve to plant themselves in your heart, because your love was never wasted, and your hope was never in vain. You loved because you were made in the image of God, who gives without holding back, who stays even when others leave, who forgives even when forgiveness is not deserved. You were not wrong to believe in someone. You were not wrong to trust. The wrong was never in the way you gave your heart, it was in the way someone failed to care for it. But your heart, though aching, is still full of life. And God is gently restoring the parts of you that were shaken. This truth may feel sharp and heavy right now, like a truth you didn't ask for, but somehow always sensed deep inside. And though the full weight of it may not yet make sense, you don't need to carry it alone. Heaven is not distant. God has not stepped back. He is closer than ever, steadying your steps, whispering peace when your thoughts spiral, and reminding you that this moment, as painful as it may be, is part of a larger, more beautiful unfolding that only He can see from beginning to end. You have already survived so much more than you realize. The way you kept moving forward, even when your heart was breaking in silence, has not gone unnoticed. Heaven has been watching over you with tender care, and every moment of your endurance has been held with the kind of reverence that only God can offer. He knows the depths of your hurt, and He honors the strength it took for you to stay soft in a world that so often hardens hearts. Let yourself breathe now. Let the tension that's been sitting quietly in your chest begin to loosen. Let yourself be held, not by people who might fail, but by the one who never does. God is not asking you to understand everything. He is simply inviting you to rest in the knowledge that you are deeply loved, even in the middle of your confusion. And that love does not change when people change. It does not shrink when others walk away. It does not disappear when things fall apart. The betrayal that was hidden from you may have shaken your trust, but it will never shake the foundation God has laid beneath your feet. You are not standing in ruins. You are standing in the middle of rebuilding. You may not see it yet, but already, new life is taking root beneath the surface. Already, healing is unfolding in ways too quiet to notice but too powerful to be stopped. And as each day passes, your heart will grow lighter, not because you forgot what happened, but because God is gently replacing sorrow with peace. Type Amen to trust God's plan for your life. There will come a time when you look back and see how this season of pain made you softer, not weaker. Stronger, not bitter. Wiser, not colder. That time will not be forced. It will come naturally, like sunlight returning after a long winter. And when it does, you'll understand that this moment, this painful, unexpected moment, was the very beginning of something holy. So do not rush to heal. Do not pressure your heart to move faster than it is ready. God is not in a hurry with you. He walks at your pace, holding your hand, speaking comfort, reminding you again and again that you are not forgotten. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not defined by what someone did in secret. In the quiet hours of the night, when the world sleeps and your thoughts begin to wander through the memories of all you've endured, it is there, in that sacred stillness, that God gently speaks. He does not speak with noise or force. He does not interrupt with demands. He simply waits for your heart to notice that even in pain, you have never been left alone. His presence has been the constant in your ever-changing story, the soft whisper of strength beneath the surface of your sorrow. There is something tender about the way He loves you, something that cannot be touched or tarnished by human failure. What someone else chose to do behind your back was not hidden from God. And while He allowed time to pass before showing you the truth, it was not because He wanted you to hurt longer. It was because he was preparing your heart to receive the truth in a way that would not destroy you, but free you. Because when truth comes too soon, it can wound. But when it comes by his hand, it heals. You are not standing in the rubble of what's been broken. You are standing at the threshold of what is about to be rebuilt. This moment of unveiling, this raw and painful opening, is not the end, it is the turning point. The sorrow you feel is valid, the confusion is real, but these emotions are not where you will stay. God is already moving in places you cannot see, guiding your heart toward a new peace that will settle like dew on the garden of your soul. Let yourself begin to trust again, not in people who may fail you, but in the God who never has. Let your heart be comforted by the quiet truth that what was meant to harm you will be transformed into a source of wisdom and resilience. This pain, though deep, will not have the final word. The final word belongs to love. The final word belongs to grace. The final word belongs to God. He knows how deeply you feel, how earnestly you love, how faithfully you give. And he also knows how this betrayal has created a hidden ache in the places no one else sees. But even in that ache, you are not without hope. Even in that silence, you are not without his presence. He is not rushing your healing. He is not asking you to perform strength you do not yet feel. He is simply here, walking with you step by step, holding each tear, whispering reminders of who you are. A hidden 9-word prayer rediscovered in a sealed government document is now changing everything for those who dare to use it. It activates your brain's forgotten abundance channel, helping you manifest prosperity in ways you've never seen before. The results: cleared debts, growing savings, sudden opportunities, speak for themselves. Don't wait until this vanishes. Click the link before it's erased from the internet. You are not defined by someone's failure to love you well. You are not shaped by their silence, their choices, or their distance. You are shaped by the hands of the one who created you with care, who breathed life into you with purpose, and who has never once looked away from your pain. That love is not shaken by betrayal. That love is not lessened by loss. It continues, steady and sure, waiting patiently for your heart to feel safe enough to receive it again. Type 3030 if you believe Jesus lives in your heart. So rest now, in this sacred in-between. Rest in the knowing that your pain has not gone unnoticed. Rest in the assurance that your healing has already begun. Rest in the truth that God will never let your story end in heartbreak. There is more ahead. There is still beauty waiting. There is still joy rising on the horizon of your days. What was done in the dark has been brought into the light, not to shame you, but to set you free. Let that freedom unfold slowly. Let it reach the quiet places inside you that have been waiting so long for release. You do not have to pretend. You do not have to carry the weight of silence any longer. God has seen. God has spoken. And now, God will restore. In the soft light of early morning, when everything feels quiet and the world has not yet demanded your attention, heaven leans in closer, not to remind you of the pain, but to help you notice how far you've already come. Even though your heart is still mending, even though the memory of what was done without your knowledge still stings, you are here, breathing, standing, moving forward with a strength you didn't think you had. That strength didn't come from the world. It didn't come from people who disappointed you. It came from God, who never left your side, not for a single breath. What they did in secret does not hold the power they believed it would. At the time, they may have thought you would never find out. They may have assumed the truth would stay buried beneath their silence, but heaven keeps no secrets from those who walk in love. God, in His infinite mercy, waits for the right moment, not to harm you with truth, but to heal you with it. He reveals only what your heart is ready to carry, and only when the timing will bring clarity instead of confusion. That is why you're reading this now. Not because it is meant to open wounds, but because it is meant to cleanse them. Not because God wants you to relive the pain, but because He wants you to release it. And though it hurts to know that someone you held close once moved in shadows, this knowledge does not make you smaller. It makes you more aware. It makes you stronger. It makes you someone who sees through the fog and still chooses grace instead of bitterness. Do not be afraid of what's been revealed. You were never meant to live in the dark. Your spirit is made for light, for truth, for freedom, for peace that runs deeper than understanding. God is not asking you to erase the past. He is inviting you to step beyond it. He is calling you out of the heaviness and into something softer, something safer, something new. What happened was real, and your pain is valid, but it will not be the anchor that keeps you stuck. It will become the soil from which your next chapter blooms. Even now, God is sending His comfort in ways your eyes cannot yet see. In the kind smile of a stranger. In the quiet stillness of a moment without pressure. In the feeling that, somehow, things will be okay even if you don't yet know how. That is not coincidence. That is the loving work of your Creator, gently restoring your sense of safety, one breath at a time. The love you gave was not wasted, even if it wasn't returned the way you hoped. The trust you offered was a reflection of your faith, not your failure. And the betrayal you faced is not your burden to carry, it is God's to handle, and He will. Not with vengeance, but with justice that is wrapped in mercy. His justice is not about making others suffer. It is about making you whole again. It is about leading your heart into waters so still, you finally remember what peace feels like. Type "I believe" if you believe miracles are on the way. You are not here by accident. This message found you because God knew you were ready to be reminded of who you truly are, not what someone did to you, but who He made you to be. You are precious. You are pure. You are deeply loved. And you are not alone in this healing. There is more for you. More laughter, more gentleness, more joy that doesn't ask you to hide your scars. You will love again. You will trust again. You will feel safe again, not because people become perfect, but because your heart will be guarded by the one who knows how to protect it without hardening it. There is something deeply sacred about the quiet moments that follow a broken truth, when everything in your heart feels uncertain, yet something in your soul knows that healing has already begun. You may not feel strong right now. You may not feel brave or certain or even hopeful. But just the fact that you are still here, still open, still reading this, despite the weight you are carrying, is proof that God has placed inside you a light no pain can ever put out. What was done to you in secret will never have the final say over your life. People may choose to act from places of fear, selfishness, or weakness, but their choices do not determine your destiny. Their silence does not cancel God's promise. Their failure does not stain your worth. You are still covered in grace. You are still worthy of love that stays, love that speaks truth, love that reflects heaven itself. The truth that was hidden may feel like a wound, but it is also the beginning of freedom. And that freedom does not arrive all at once. It shows up gently, like morning light breaking through the cracks in a wall you didn't realize you had built. You are being invited to open your heart, not to be hurt again, but to receive the kind of peace that doesn't demand you forget what happened, but simply asks you to stop holding it all alone. You don't have to rush to forgive. You don't have to pretend this hasn't shaken you. God's love is not rushed. It is patient, kind, and deeply aware of how human your pain truly is. He is not asking you to skip ahead. He is simply asking you to stay close to Him, to your own heart, and to the truth that your value has never changed. It didn't change when you were betrayed. It didn't change when you felt lost. And it certainly doesn't change now. The person who did this may never admit it. They may never apologize, never acknowledge the hurt they caused. But that does not mean your healing is incomplete. Your healing is not dependent on their words. It is dependent only on the mercy of the one who knows the full story and still calls you His. God does not need others to be honest in order for Him to set you free. He needs only your willingness to let Him in. Let yourself grieve what was broken. Let yourself release the dreams that no longer fit. Let yourself cry if you need to, not because crying is a sign of weakness, but because it is often the very first sign of something beginning to heal. Every tear you shed now is a seed being sown in the soil of your future joy. Nothing is wasted in God's hands, not even your sorrow. And please, beloved, do not be afraid to hope again. Hope does not mean you ignore what happened. It means you believe that what happened will not define your ending. It means that even when everything feels uncertain, you trust that the one who holds your future is still writing beauty into your days. You don't need to know how it will all work out. You just need to know that it will, because God is not finished with you. Type 222 if you trust that God is with you always. You are allowed to be in between right now. Not over it, not angry, not numb, just here, somewhere between brokenness and restoration, holding on to the only thing that never changes, God's love for you. That love is not threatened by your pain. It is not diminished by your doubts. It surrounds you even now, wrapping itself around the softest parts of your soul and whispering, "You are not alone. You never were. And you never will be." There comes a moment in every heart's journey when something is taken without warning, a truth is revealed, a layer is peeled back, and suddenly, everything you thought was certain begins to tremble beneath your feet. But even as the ground shifts, even as your heart aches with the weight of betrayal, the presence of God remains unshaken, surrounding you with a quiet strength that holds you in place when nothing else can. The truth that has now come into your light is not a punishment. It is a gift, though it may not feel like one just yet. It is the kind of gift wrapped in layers of sorrow and confusion, one that asks you to look deeper, to feel fully, and to trust again, but this time, to trust not in people, but in the goodness of the one who has never stopped loving you. What has been exposed was never meant to break you. It was meant to give you permission to finally stop carrying what was never yours to carry. You have tried so hard to make peace with the unknown, to stay steady despite the shifting pieces, to love without answers, and to forgive without apology. Heaven has seen every quiet effort, every silent tear, every moment when you put others first even while you were quietly falling apart. And now, God is saying, enough. You don't have to hold this pain in the shadows anymore. You don't have to pretend you are unaffected. You are allowed to feel this deeply, to grieve what you lost, and to let that grief bring you closer to healing, not shame. Even in this, you are not alone. Even in the sting of what was hidden, you are still entirely loved. The mistake someone else made does not define your worth. Their silence does not strip your value. Their choice to betray does not mean you are any less deserving of a love that stays, a love that speaks truth, a love that stands in the light and refuses to hide. Amen.